Hi and welcome back. In today's episode, we're talking about collision detection. Just as a reminder, so far we have a bee and we have apples. They are falling, and as you can see, the physics engine already handles the fact that the apples collide with the ground or with our bee. But we don't yet have a way to know what the apples are actually colliding with. And that's exactly what we're going to implement today. So let's jump into the code. We need to add a new segment to our script. An init function. I'll insert it right here. And this function makes use of the events API. That allows us to say, hey, we're interested in certain events and we want to be notified when those events happen. For now, we're keeping things simple. We're just printing out what the event sends us. To make this work, we need to add a little setup containing a require at the top. I'm gonna put that in now for the tools function. Let's hit play again. And now, down in the log, you'll see various messages popping up. Quite a few actually. I'll stop that for a moment and take a closer look. Let's examine one of those events in detail, like this one here. The event itself is this part in the back. And here we can see there's exactly one event, and inside is an object with a type and another object with a type. The contact points aren't really relevant for us right now. We're interested in the two IDs because they tell us which objects collided. The tricky part is those IDs aren't very descriptive, so we need to ask the engine, hey, what kind of object is this ID referring to? Is it something I care about or not? Let's take a closer look at how we do that. First, we need to define which objects we actually care about. Which ones do we need the ID for? First up, the bee, because we want to know if either of the two colliding objects is the bee, since that means the apple has been caught. If it's the floor instead, that means we missed the apple, so we need both IDs. Getting the bee's ID is easy, our script is already attached to the bee, so we can just ask the node for its ID. And done. Getting the floor's ID is a bit trickier. We can't get it directly, so we'll create a new property for that. We will add it up top. Our bee controller now has a property called floor, which is of type node. That means we can now simply drag the floor object onto this property in the editor. Our big controller now has a new property called floor, which is of type node. A new field called floor has shown up on our script component. We can now just drag and drop the floor node into it. Nice! And now we can access that floor object directly in the code. I'll add a line for that here. Now we can access the floor property and print out its ID. Hit play and then stop right away, and there we go, we can see both IDs. Perfect, it works. Let's remove that again, onto the next step. Now we go back to our event callback. We don't need our print line anymore, so let's remove it. Instead, we'll add in this new block of code. Let's walk through it step by step. We now loop through all the events we receive. It might be just one or it might be multiple. Sometimes multiple objects can collide at the same time, so we need to check each one. And now we use this function. It doesn't exist yet, but I'm calling it already. This function simply checks, was the bee involved in this collision? If yes, then clearly the apple hit the bee. If instead the floor was involved, then the apple must have hit the ground, so we missed it. In both cases, this function will return the other object involved in this collision, either the apple we caught or the one we missed. If that's the case, we delete the apple. Now we just need to implement the function. I'll add it right below. This function takes the collision data and checks if the ID shows up in object 1 or object 2. We store the other object's ID in a variable called collideWith. And if that's set, we ask the engine, hey, can you tell me what object this ID belongs to? If that fails, the function just returns null. Let's test it. And look at that, the apples disappear. Right now though, we still can't really see whether we caught them or they hit the ground, so we need a bit of feedback. Let's just quickly add a simple print statement. And just to repeat, it's looking good. In the next lesson, we'll focus on displaying the values for missed and caught apples in a nicer way. Sure, it's useful to have them printed in the console for testing, but for the actual game, we'll need a better way to show that information on the screen. And that's what we'll be working on next time. Stay tuned!